Are we live? Are we live? Let us know if we're live. Let me check. Let's make sure that we're live.
Let me know for live. Let me
Are we
know.
live? Are we live? Looks like we're
Let me
live.
know.
Bam, bam, bam. What's going on? Talking Giants playoff hype stream. I think we're gonna live stream every day this week. Like especially with no film review. Like last week, the only day we didn't was Tuesday because we had O-line important film review and had to record the mailbag pod. Well, guess what? We're doing a hype pod for Wednesday. Don't have to go details and mailbag stuff, and I don't have to do the film review. So I think we're gonna do one tomorrow. I think we're gonna get license plate guy on tomorrow. Jordan Raanan of ESPN, notable media, some clowns guy. He should join us in a few minutes.
Sure.
Justin, you're up in the city at the John Boy Media headquarters. How you doing?
Hey, Bobby Skinner. What's up, everybody? Bobby's favorite fish show. We'll find out one day. Now we will be Dylan Bob. I'm excited, man. This is really cool vibes coming from the John Boy Media office. You know, just being excited for us, being excited about our New York Football Giants, excited about our playoff event, which has like 200 tickets sold. I think
We're sold out, I'm pretty sure at this point.
we're sold out. I think we're sold out, man.
I kind of feel bad about selling out, to be honest.
I do, but I mean, 200 people, 200 people is a lot of people to kind of put on one floor and one event. So thank you to everybody who bought a ticket this time around. And hey, root for those New York Football Giants to win. And maybe we'll have a second event too. So I'm ready, man. Let's do this. I'm ready to do the most prep I could possibly do on one football team on one game ever in my kind of podcasting life. And it's
we got to make sure the preview pod is not
before we recorded. It's nice that we already faced this team too.
We got to make sure the preview pod is like we could easily make the preview pod like an hour and 45 minutes. But I'll be up there on Thursday in New York, so I'm very excited about that. So let's get into some questions. Let's get some questions in before we get to Jordan. We bring Jordan Raanan on. What's going on? Chris Michael, our people. I know Michael's gonna. I'm pretty sure Michael's gonna be at the event.
Love that.
Let's see. The more that I watch Jared Davis's performance, the more I'm like, I think he's actually gonna play on Sunday. Like,
Brian Dable kind of hinted at it too with I think Dan Duggan put out a little quote.
Yeah, I can see him taking McFadden. Like we talked about on the podcast last night, I don't see him taking Jalen Smith snaps, not because he deserved them, but I just don't see it happening. But like that is an upgrade, you know. And you play against a team. Now the thing that worries me about Jared Davis is, unlike the Eagles, at least the Eagles yesterday, is the Vikings will run play action out of from under center, where that can your linebackers can get killed if they're getting flowing heavy. So. Again, there is a reason why Davis is, coming off of a practice squad, and the Lions didn't want to activate him. Like, he was a former first-round pick. It's not like he didn't get a shot, and now he's getting a shot in the league. Like, he's still not a good linebacker. There's some tackling issues there. But I just, I was talking with the ESPN New York guys, the upstate guys, Roger Weil and Justin.
Mm-hmm.
This is the healthiest the team has been all year long. Like, it truly is the healthiest it's been all year long. And I mean, it's at the perfect time. Like, the healthiest the New York Giants roster will be for the playoff game.
Yeah, and they're clicking at the right time too. I apologize if the audio in my mouth is off a little bit. I saw that one comment. Just we'll try and get it on for StreamYard for the rest of the week. But this Giants roster is playing at its best. It's at its most healthiest point, which I know you've talked about, but I think also just from offensively and defensively, it's playing at its best just as a group overall too, which is really cool. I mean, the Giants against the Vikings had their most 20-plus yard plays for an entire season. And then I have really liked how Wink Martindale has mixed in running a lot of two high safeties, and the pass rush has still been very productive getting to the quarterback, especially when Azeez Ojulari is in the lineup. So, yeah.
Well, what do we talk about, when we just talk about football in general? Like, there's nothing more deadly than being able to get there with 4, because it allows you to do some of those two high safety stuffs, and Wink is still going to blitz a ton, right? But having ability to rush with 4, which the Giants, when they have Dex, Leo, Kayvon, and Azeez, can do with, some of the best teams in the NFL pass rusher wise. Like, when they have Azeez Ojulari in the lineup, They have the second most sacks per game, only to the Eagles, who came close to setting the NFL record for sacks in a season. I know there's the extra game, but that really can let Wink Martindale do a lot more things, put more focus on Justin Jefferson. Here's something though that I was wondering about. Hopefully Adoree Jackson is ready to go full play, right? Like, we don't know for sure. We've kind of just presumed because he's been limited in practice the last 2 weeks, he'd be ready to roll at this point. Like, we still haven't seen him out there. Like, I don't know if we're going to fully get him.
Part of my confidence heading into this game is just in my brain, I'm penciling in, not even penciling in, I'm writing in pen that Adoree Jackson's going to be out there and he's going to be covering Justin Jefferson. My mood doesn't change heading into the game. I'm still super excited. I still think that we can win. Give me Minnesota for a second time. But part of my just blind optimism and confidence is that Adoree Jackson will be in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, he's your only good corner on this team. That's something like, and I think he's not just in the good level, but he's in like the, top 10 corner in the NFL when he does play. And again, like you're only one. There's a severe drop off. So having just one guy like that in your lineup can totally change what you do defensively. It can stop Justin Jefferson from having 7 catches for 130 yards to 5 catches for 90 yards. And that literally can be the difference between winning and losing.
100%.
The other thing is, man, the Giants left some stuff on the field versus that Vikings team a couple weeks ago. Whether it was, even some, like, there was a double play that or double move by Darius Slayton that could have been hit. DJ missed Slayton on a couple of throws, and then just the block punt, the fumble by Bellinger, the drop by Richie James. Like, the Giants did leave a lot of opportunities on the field where I think America is going into this game like almost picking the Giants, or maybe I'm stuck in Giants land, but like I feel confident about the Vikings more than I would basically any playoff team. Maybe even like less than more so than the Seahawks. I know the Seahawks have not played well, but if there was one team in this playoffs like that I feel really confident against, the Vikings. Maybe the Bucks, but still, even the Bucks worry me because it's like they got a lot of vets and Tom Brady on that roster.
Yeah. I want to go back to Adoree. We're not doctors, and obviously I think we're just presuming here, and hopefully Jordan Raanan can hop on with us for a second. And this was Doug's comment is exactly what made me think of this. Why wouldn't Adoree Jackson be ready to play? But there is no more important game at an important time for a guy to come back, even if he's not totally 100% right. Why wouldn't he be able to come back?
The only reason is we didn't really know the true extent of the injury. When we saw MCL sprain, we saw 25 other Giants this year have MCL sprain. You're like, all right, month injury. But it's turned into essentially a 2-month injury at this point. Hopefully the optimistic side is like, okay, they truly have been just keeping him on ice, knowing like, all right, get to the playoffs and we can let Adoree play. Dude, Kayvon and Azeez, interested to see how Kayvon will step up this week. I mean, they're going to be playing their back at right tackle. And their interior offensive line is bad. Like, the Vikings can very much be playing with almost like a last year Giants offensive line. Not as bad, but kind of a situation where you have one guy as a left tackle and then, the rest being really bad. So O'Neal was a solid right tackle for them for some time.
Take advantage of it.
We got somebody in the chat.
We got somebody in the chat. You got to make sure that you allow to use the camera, and you got to allow to use the microphone. And I think he's getting it to work now. Oh man, this is the biggest. Getting blue balls here. What are you drinking, Bobby?
Coffee.
Oh, now he's gone.
Now we lost him. All right, so we'll get Jordan on here in a minute. I
have a particular question. He just put out a tweet about Wink Martindale, and that's
he did.
Jordan did. His recommendation, because I know a lot of NFL teams follow him. His recommendation of what NFL teams who are particularly looking for a head coach should do.
Doesn't Wink kind of give you the coordinator vibe more so than the head coach vibe?
That's what I kind of want to ask him about, because now that they're back in the locker room, I'm interested to hear a lot of the guys on the beats their perspective on things, especially now that they're back in the locker room and things like that. They're able to start building and or rebuilding, reforming those relationships that they had with players, and it's been a while. It's been a long time.
All right, so we'll get him if we can. Maybe he'd see if he text me. There's Wink. Yes, Wink definitely wants a head coaching gig. Like he's been like vying for that. Right now we see Justin's there. Sorry, Jordan Raanan is now he's starting to get on my nerves. Like figure this out, my man. Let's see.
Get that gif.
Hit us with some questions so we can get some questions. I know our chat is not like the most questioning people. Like they kind of
we get criticized for not answering questions.
Adam,
quick, Adam.
No, I don't want to do. He might not be ready. Might be cussing in the background.
Come on now. Can you believe that Kenny Galladay called a touchdown pass?
I still like it. It makes me emotional to think about it. Like I admit it. I will say that's probably the fastest I ever flushed a game was that game. Like I don't think I flushed the Giants Commanders last week of this season game last year as much as I did this one. Here's a good most underrated player this year. That's actually a good question because players don't get underrated when the team is winning. In fact, mostly get overrated. When like last year's team, there was some underrated players because it's like everyone, unless they are the best, they totally suck. So most underrated, is it Ben Bredesen?
There's a lot of guys offensively that are underrated. You can say
I can say Slayton's almost underrated at this point.
I think Isaiah Hodgins is
Isaiah Hodgins might be overrated.
People are acting like Isaiah Hodgins is a savior. I would say Daniel Bellinger. I don't, when we were in the middle of that little losing streak that we were on, I don't think people really appreciated his presence. At least maybe I didn't at the time. I know you talked about it in the running game, but I mean, even just in the passing game too, him coming out of the backfield like they've done, things like that. But
Richie James could be one where it's like,
well, I don't think Richie
James gets so much hate for the negatives that it's like you forget like guy's an 82% catch rate.
Richie James was the first guy that I went to, but then you remember the drop against the Vikings and then the fumbles against the Seahawks. So it's like, oh, well, you actually kind of costed us games too. So
most overrated could be O'Shane Ximines for people not hating him. All right, we got Jordan Raanan.
There he
Finally,
is.
Did you figure it out? Can you hear us? Can you see us?
Yeah, something that my main phone just didn't want to. The camera doesn't want to work for just this app. I don't know what it is.
No. Are you on your laptop now?
No, I have a secondary phone.
Okay. Wow, what for?
Okay,
phone.
The ESPN phone. So, do you text me from the ESPN phone or your personal phone?
What's that?
Do you text me from the ESPN phone or the personal phone?
No, I really only. So the ESPN phone is a phone that I only use for. It has an app that they can connect to straight back in transmission in the studios and put up, and they can put you on TV. So that's what it's for. That, and I use it for some internet. But yeah, no, this one you see here is the main bat phone.
Okay.
Everything is in here.
Justin, you had a question about Wink Martindale. We'll talk about Tony stuff at the end. We try and save we'll get to the Giants stuff and then the
yeah. I got to talk about it. I gotta let the people know how you railroaded me and then pretend like you're rooting for me.
Definitely not railroaded. All right, Justin, ask your question about Wink Martindale.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan. I mean, I think you kind of just put out a tweet, about having dealt with and talking with Wink Martindale and kind of getting to know him over the years, and you said that Wink Martindale should be at certain teams the top of their list in terms of head coaching vacancies. So Wink is obviously a personality that we see whenever he kind of talks, and he has obviously dropped some really good one-liners as the years gone on. We've seen what he's done with the defense, but kind of give us a little bit more insight in terms of your relationship with Wink Martindale, what you see, how the players interact with him. Why should other teams be so attracted to him?
What you have to start with is he's let it be known. Like this isn't a secret. The dude wants to be a head coach in the league, right? And he's worked his whole life. And you look at his track record, he has a pretty solid track record, right? Like, and then, you could look at Wink Martindale and say, oh, he's older. I don't know if I want to start. He's not that old. Like Wink Martindale, I think he's 59. So, like, is he that old where he can't be an NFL head coach? Like, Wink Martindale could coach a decade for you as a head coach. I think once you get into your 70s, okay, then it's usually when guys stop wanting to be a head coach. But, like, as long as you can feel good about it, a decade as a head coach, like, he should be an attractive candidate. His track record speaks for itself. And what I've been really impressed with him, what you see with him, and what I've met with the player relationship with him, he is, and Brian Dable's a lunatic on the sideline, right? We could all agree on that. I mean, He is all over the map, like a Mr. Emotion, getting in guys' faces, putting his arm around them when he needs to, like all over the map. Not calm at all. Wink Martindale, and this is his approach, is so calm. And like that's his approach. And he says like he owes it to the players to be calm at all times. And if you watch him, you will never see that guy going nuts or being ballistic. And players love him. And so I just respect the way he works. And you hear people talk about him in that locker room, and you're like, wow, this guy really is good at what he does. I mean, you saw the number of players that followed him over. It's not an accident. These guys, not every coach is getting along with everybody. Like Blake Martinez wasn't one of his guys. Tate Crowder wasn't one of his guys. And you saw what happened, right? But he gets along with a large majority of guys, is really good schematically. I really don't, Bobby, you could probably talk about this more than anybody else. Why do you think more coaches don't try to replicate or emulate what he does? Because it has a track record of working in the NFL.
Yeah, I think it's like, and you said you look at it, I don't think he'll get a head coaching job because from the teams don't hire defensive coordinators as often as offensive guys. And you look at it, it's like they have the 18th ranked defense.
Yeah. But I'm looking at the Colts. The Colts should definitely look at this guy. Like if he doesn't get an interview with the Colts, I'm a little I'm a little curious of why.
The reason a lot of coaches don't blitz is I really do think they are scared of it burning them. I really do. Because remember James Betcher? It's like come from the Arizona. Oh, blitz. He just basically copied and pasted Todd Bowles with Arizona. Comes over to the Giants. He's got press corners in like Jordan Jenkins and DeAndre Baker. And they would sit back and forth. And whenever they would blitz, they would have their best results. But it was like because of the corners, because Antoine Bethea slow on the back end, he was just like afraid to blitz. I think that's why. Did you get I wanted Wink Martindale as the Giants head coach in 2020. He was the guy I wanted. Everyone wanted Matt Rule. I wanted Wink Martindale. I kind of get some vibe though. It's like he might just be a coordinator though. Like being a great coordinator doesn't always mean good head coach.
Why not? Like I view him in sort of like the Baltimore type tree. Like he's in that Rex realm, but he's definitely more reserved. You know what I mean? And we can say what we want about Rex, but Rex had a pretty good run with the Jets. I think if you could have, Reign a Rex Ryan in more and have that defensive approach, you can still be good. You have to care about offense a little bit, which I think Wink would. So I don't know. To me, it's like he deserves an opportunity at this point. He's had success at what he does, and you see other guys who, quite frankly, have had less success than him. Are now hot coordinators. Like you telling me Jonathan Gannon, I get it, he's a smart guy, has had more success than Wink Martindale?
Yeah. I think people are looking for the young whiz kid too.
Or even the Broncos defensive coordinator. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
I don't either.
Man.
Here's a question the chat was giving us, and we were kind of counting on, we're just kind of been counting on it, not giving it any chance that it's not a for sure. Is there any chance Adoree Jackson doesn't play Sunday? Because we've just been kind of counting on it since he was limited 2 weeks ago in practice, and we kind of hit me today. It's like, what if he's just not ready to go?
That'd be bad for my mental health, Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a possibility. I agree with you. Like eventually, even if he's not 100%, you tough it out and try and play. But I mean, you try and parse through what he said in the locker room after yesterday, and you're like, and I said that to him. I said, you just tough through it just because it's a playoff game. And he was like, no, man, I got to be good, and you're trying to decide whether that's legit or he's just saying that because he doesn't want to say he's going to play no matter what, basically, right? I lean towards the latter, but you can't rule it out, Bobby, because when you go back and think, why did it go wrong for him in Tennessee? And the organization in Tennessee was pissed at him that they thought he was soft and wasn't coming back quick enough from a knee injury. He said my knee was messed up. So I don't think we really can get an answer from it. I guess you have to consider it a possibility considering all the evidence that's there. But I still lean towards the fact that he's been practicing the last couple of weeks, doing more and more, that he will be able to play. I mean, if he wasn't practicing, that would concern me more. The fact that he has practiced now, at least limited for 2 weeks, makes me think that that's usually when you know the guy's close.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it makes it even more of a terrible decision to put him back there and return punts, knowing his history in Tennessee and knowing that, hey, if this guy gets hurt, especially if it's with the lower body, there may be a chance.
The problem is he even a great punt returner that you need him back there? He has not proven to be a great punt returner in the NFL at all.
Right. So then here, I kind of even want to bring this back with Wink Martindale too, and even bring Brian Dable involved in it here too. I think it's very clear that what Wink Martindale has done on the defensive side of the ball, and why I think what you're saying has a lot of credence to it about Wink Martindale. He could deserve at least some interviews and an opportunity to maybe go out there and get a head coaching job. I think what the Giants defense has done this year is more impressive than what the offense has done. I think the offense has more talent. I think that you're going back and forth. So I'll put a pin on my second question there. Give me your reaction to that. Who's been more impressive?
I feel like in my mind, the first half of the season, it was the defense. And then the second half of the season has been the offense.
Okay.
Like the defense won in the games in the first half, right? The goal was, just score a few points. The defense will keep it close and we'll win some games. And in the second half of the season, the offense has kind of come along, especially recently, the passing game in the second half. To me, the second half of the season, Daniel Jones has won them a bunch of games when they have won games, and he's played really well. So I look at it as like a split. That's why I said, I mean, I'm trying to think, but I mean, both units have their personnel deficiencies for sure.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean,
I think offense, you can raise the floor with good coaching. And then if you have a quarterback like Daniel Jones, who's not like even at his worst was never like a disaster. Like, I think when you look back at his season last year, it's not as bad as people remember. It's just, it finished on the worst of notes. It was the Bucs-Eagles game, which were probably his two worst games, and then missing the injury. Like, you look at his season as a whole, it's like, this is not a horrible quarterback in the NFL.
He played pretty much the way he has this year, minus the running a little bit.
Yeah, he's improvising in the pocket
the same
more.
way he did the first half of last year.
Yeah.
But revisionist history is that's what happens when
he hasn't had the disaster Bucs game too.
Yeah, he had it started to go off the rails right before he got hurt, for sure. Because their offensive line was next level bad last year. I mean,
it makes this year's
way
O-line
worse
look
than this year.
Yeah,
and then this year is still not great.
Right. So this is where I want to tie like Brian Dable into it, because I feel like, whenever we talk about the defense, it's Wink Martindale. Whenever we talk about the offense, it's Brian Dable. I mean, and that's naturally when you have an offensive head coach, that's kind of that's the tendency that you want to do, you want to go with. But, and I feel like the decision to have Adoree Jackson return punts, we put that on Brian Dable because that's like just a super, super negative thing. So it falls on the head coach. What's the impression that you're getting on Brian Dable's influence on basically everything else that happens in the building or, happens on a football field besides the offense? I think McAdoo, a critique of some of the other coaching staff, said, McAdoo was 2 in the offense, not enough of the defense, not involved in the other side. Shermer, same thing. What do you feel like Brian Dable's influence has been, just outside of the offense?
I think he's involved in big personnel decisions like that, like the Adoree Jackson, where you decide who's going to punt return. That's a decision that the head coach is 100% involved with. Trust me, the special teams coaches would love to have a returner. I mean, they've known they're just picking from like nothing. I mean, even Gary Braywell returning kicks, he is not a good kick returner. I mean, sometimes you see holes and you're just like, I saw one the other day. I was like, where's he going, man? And like their ability to break kicks is like zero, right? Let's be frank. So he's definitely involved in that. I think he lets Wink handle the defense for the most part. But again, big personnel decisions he's involved in. Like, so again, like you're talking, let's say Ojulari, coming back last week. Like Brian Daboll's basically telling Wink, this is how much I want you, and his position coach, who's Drew Wilkins, and who by the way is like Wink's right-hand man, future defensive coordinator if Wink ever gets a head coaching job, or defensive coordinator here, one or the other. They're telling him, okay, here's how much we want to play Ojulari. Here's the packages we want to play him in. So I think he is involved. Probably a little more special teams even than defense. Like he lets Wink run that show pretty much. So, I mean, that's every head coach. If you're a first-time head coach and you don't basically have like a head coach to run the other side of the ball, you're doing it wrong because you have so many things on your plate. You need that guy to trust. I was in Philadelphia years ago. Andy Reid had Jim Johnson, dude, ran the defense, right? He was the defensive head coach. And most teams, like, you need that other guy on the other side of the ball to just run it.
Bobby, I'm taking all the questions. I'm sorry. I'll shut up after this. The Ty Dunn article and the whole story of basically Brian Daboll sabotaging Daniel Jones for practices. And, we were all there. We saw how Daniel Jones struggled. We saw Tyrod Taylor kind of have some really good days. Are you buying that? Do you believe it? What's your take on it?
I think it's a little embellishing, but he said things along these lines, like he wanted to test Daniel all summer. The defense kind of had a head start. He was giving them advantages. So I do believe it, but, it makes for a good story and the tale kind of grows as you go along. I think that's kind of how I look at that.
I think it's like there's days where it's like, okay, like, because they do script everything out, but I don't think there was I don't think that 2 weeks, at least the 2.5 weeks we were there, it's like, okay, we're going to make everything horrible for Daniel Jones and we're not going to be able to run our offense successfully.
Right. I mean, Daboll said he was going to try, this day we were just working on this. So the defense knows we're only working on third and long. We're not going to run the ball, like things like that. I thought, that obviously gives the defense an advantage, but he was fine with that. And I don't think that's outrageous, groundbreaking stuff, to be honest with you.
Couple personnel questions, and then we can talk about the Tony Award. And I got a question about the media room too. Anyway, Jared Davis gets into the lineup this week, and or if Adoree returns, could Darnay Holmes get benched for Cordell Flott, who's had some moments of flash, and I think it's just better in coverage, even though he is 130 pounds.
Yeah, he probably is better in coverage, but he's not a slot guy, is he?
I mean, he played slot at LSU. It's just more and more in the NFL, you have to be able to play the run to play slot, and Flott can get bullied.
They have enough trouble against the run on the edges. I don't think that's something they would do, especially at this point. Look, and this goes for Jared Davis. Do we really think they're going to make massive changes based off a massive change based off a Week 18 result at this point? Like they got this far by doing what they've done, right? I'd be surprised if all of a sudden they reverse course. Like Jared Davis is going to be your starting inside line. No, I get it. We don't think their inside linebacker is very good, but they've been playing these guys. They think they do some stuff well. They're not going to lose their job by sitting out in Week 18. I don't see it. I really don't. And same old true. Like we think they're all of a sudden going to reverse course on Kenny Golladay because he made an awesome catch, but the dude was targeted. I think it was 7 times.
His catch rate went down after this game for the year. I said his catch rate was 40% going into the game. It was 35% after the game. He had a bad game.
7 passes. One was probably a throwaway, maybe 2, but there was 0. Like literally, James Bradbury was the intended receiver on several passes that were for Kenny Golladay because he got there before Kenny Golladay. That's how little separation there was, and even on that touchdown. So maybe they find a way to sneak him in the red zone and say, "Hey, we could use his size." But I don't. No. I wouldn't think that.
Well, even then, the touchdown yesterday, are they going to be like, all right, let's put a play where Kenny Golladay is very well covered and just throw it the fuck up? Like maybe if they're down, 7, with 17 seconds left at the 30-yard line, they might do it.
Yeah. I think that holds true for all of these personnel things. Like I'd be really surprised if they made a major change at this point. It's like why risk that at this point? We already got here with what we had.
Yeah. The only reason I asked about Davis is because the linebacker room is so weak, and they were trying to get him for a month. But it's
where do you want to play him?
I would play him over Jalen Smith. I know that's not going to happen, so I would give him reps over McFadden.
That's too big to
do. But McFadden looked his best next to Davis.
It's too big to do at this point to put him in for Jalen Smith. Like, I'd be really shocked and surprised if they do that now at this point.
You would think it would mean something. I mean, the Eagles were playing for something, and the Eagles have one of the best rushing attacks in the NFL. And I mean, and the Giants kept them. And if you were to tell me that the Giants keep a team to like 4 yards per carry in a game that, again, that means something for the Eagles, in a game where I thought the Eagles' game plan should have been running the ball, keeping the ball.
Yeah, but they didn't want to, just because they didn't want their quarterback to take a hit. That wasn't the Eagles as we know them. That's not the Eagles team you're going to see in the playoffs. There was zero threat of him pulling the zone read.
Right.
Zero.
All right.
You can see it. You can see it. I mean, Shane Zimenez was so far inside on one play. If Jalen Hurts was healthy, it would have been a 40-yard touchdown.
Right.
But they were not going to do that because they couldn't risk him, right? They're like, well, we'll win this game without that whole part, basically our whole running game.
Yeah.
All right, so you took second place in the Tony Award. Congratulations again.
Congratulations.
Want to congratulate you again on second place.
If you're in second place, you might as well finish in last place. You know that, though. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, did Giant Insider finish in last place, so you feel the same as them? Okay.
Second is the first to lose, Abby Lee Miller says.
You said I railroaded you.
Abby Lee Miller.
Yeah. How did I did not railroad you at all.
You went there. Nobody even gets that reference.
No, I don't get it either.
It's Dance Moms.
I only get that because
I can't believe no one gets that.
I have a 12-year-old, so I get it, but I can't believe he even went there.
Absolutely.
It's very simple. And look, we got here. Could have had my vote, Jordan, SMH. Basically,
Bobby, you railroaded me.
How?
Yeah,
how?
tell
the
us.
story.
So I say this on. We are not Talking Giants is not in the business of breaking news, right? Like that's not what we want to be. Like we don't want to be beat reporters. But sometimes stuff falls in our lap, and it's happened before where I will try and give you guys tips, and because you guys are like, oh, fuck these stupid bloggers, you don't listen to us. When we give you real, like, Kadarius Toney, I sent the Kadarius Toney, like, is in the Giants building. I sent that to all of you guys. Nobody did anything. The next day, I'm like, might as well just break it, and ended up, like, gaining me like 500 followers. So I told you about the Gates Bredesen rotation per sauce, and you said, I'm going to wait till tomorrow, and then we said,
I tell you, though? I already knew that. See, here's the thing. You can't go to practice and report on personnel, like who's starting, who's there. So it's a very fine line. So I can't on Friday be like, I saw them splitting reps. That's against the media rules. So I knew this, right? And so then you give it to Danny King, which is fine. I'm all fine with that. But I'm working on Sunday. First of all, I have no idea. I didn't know it. So when I feel like I can, I really don't look at my Twitter, like especially on Sundays, like significantly less than a normal day because I'm working, I'm moving around, I'm doing stuff. So when I feel like I could tweet it out, and I tweeted out sometime that morning, I guess Danny had already tweeted it out. And then Bobby's all over the place being like, yeah, you need to give credit to Danny King for something he knew I already knew days ago.
Okay, you knew it. You can confirm it. You can confirm as Danny King reported
because
first.
You did that. You turned voters against me.
Okay, but here's what you could have done. When your mentions turned into credit Danny King.
Could have been the difference. Could have been the difference.
You know what could have been the difference? Because I still think you may have you still might have finished second place. You know what it could have been, like, pushed you over top to the win is once your mentions start getting credited with or filled with credit Danny King being like Danny King on it first.
Yeah, there was a time for reconciliation there.
That would have gotten you the win. Like that would have I set you up to get the winning moment, and you didn't do it.
Even an underrated moment is Saquon Barkley getting an MRI, and I broke that the night before on Saturday, and then Sal Palantoni comes on Sunday and breaks it. And
I think it's a bad culture at ESPN. I believe.
I'm sitting with my feet up at the tailgate on Sunday, saying I already broke this last night, and I was chilling. No credit.
Wow. I'm not going to tell you the story behind that one, but okay.
Tell me off camera.
Off camera, I'll tell you.
What's funny is all of our sources basically come from essentially like one path. Every day I'm hustling.
Mm.
So
I knew the Saquon thing too, by the way. Same thing.
All right. Well, you guys are the great at telling us you knew something that once it comes out in breaking news.
But,
like Martinez cut. Oh, everyone should have saw this coming. No one predicted this at all.
No, I never said that. Was
no, but maybe you didn't. But a lot of people were like, the writing was on the wall, and I was like, what wall? What fucking wall are we talking
Giants
about?
Didn't want to cut him. He pushed his way out. That's what happened there. I mean, he wasn't happy with Wink because he wasn't going to be a 3-down linebacker, and he knew he was basically on the outs, right? And so he wanted to leave essentially, and the Giants were resistant until they finally said, I guess, it's counterproductive for us to keep him around, so let's agree to split amicably here. And trust me, you think the Giants wanted to cut the guy who was in their starting middle linebacker? So what was it, 10 days before the start of the season?
That was all the information I wanted out of it. Instead, I had reporters telling us, "Oh, well, you should have known this was coming," which was so infuriating.
You're following the wrong people.
Last question before we let you go. Yesterday, Dan Duggan tweeted that Carl Banks, Lawrence Taylor, and Harry Carson could not stop Boston Scott from the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
And Carl Banks got offended by that. Walk us through the media room when you guys see Carl Banks being offended by that.
Yeah.
So there was a text. We have a text chain, and I think Pat Leonard or somebody said something. No, you know what? I don't know. No, that wasn't it. That was something else. It was. So I guess when I saw that, I'm sitting next to Dan Duggan. It's at the game, so you're in the press box, and he's like, "All these people are like, these idiots are coming at me like." And I'm like, no, Carl was joking. Like, I'm giving him credit that he was joking. Even he could sense the sarcasm in that tweet that Dan had. And he's like, no, I don't think so. And I was
he was not joking at all.
And I was like, come on. You have to sense the sarcasm. Like, do people really think he was serious? Like, you guys knew that was sarcasm, right?
Everyone knew that was sarcasm except for Carl Banks and his.
So then all
mutants.
Like the lowest common denominators are like, Dan Duggan's next to me. He's like, you should see my mentions right now. These people are like killing me. They think I was serious. I'm like, they can't. These people, they can't be. You can't be that dumb, right? You can't.
Duggan should have doubled down.
Not be able to sense that sarcasm.
Duggan should have doubled down and been like, this is the new NFL. Like, those guys could not hang with their backs today, like Boston Scott. But
that's like the West Steinberg comment. Like it was that to me. It was that obvious that. So the funny part is, with the West thing with Kelvin Benjamin.
Yes.
Real players were reaching out to me like, did he really steal stuff from the cafeteria? And I'm like, you've been to the cafeteria. They let you take home as much as you want. Guys literally walk out of there going home every day with 5 styrofoam boxes. And I was like, how could you believe that? They legitimately have let you take anything you want from the cafeteria for as long as we've known.
One of the best trolls of all time was that. But people are just gullible. Like with my not Carl Banks, my Saquon Barkley, like, which one was born on people asking Saquon the same question over and over again, trying to get a quote about how he's going to get closure or something. So I was mocking that all day.
This year, by the way.
And then I, would you ever thought about pissing or burning down the stadium? And I mean, that got like 1 million views of people, and people were like, media is insane. Like, how do these people have jobs?
What did Saquon say?
He pretended like he didn't remember it at first.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Then he was like, oh, yeah. He's like, what do you mean piss and burn down the stadium? I'm like, come on. The video of you in Chicago. He's like, oh,
okay.
Oh, yeah. I can say his name. Halapio messaged me. He's like, all the players in the 49ers locker room are like sharing it, being like, this is insane. He's like, no, he's like, that's like he's like explaining to them. He's like, no, that's actually somebody I know. That's what happens when the Giants are bad. It just becomes we just become shit posters.
Yeah. That even these ridiculous things were actually believable at that point.
See, this is the problem. Little Robbie saying Mr. Banks is a made man. Respect or F off. No, bullshit. Just because he was a great linebacker means doesn't mean I need to respect him because he was great at football. He's in media now. He wants to be in media. He can be in media. That's what's so annoying. That's why he hates us, is because we don't bow down to him.
He doesn't hate me.
He trolls on social, and then when he sees you, he's not, haha, yuck.
I know I want him to just come out and say one day he hates us. So if
he doesn't hate me. I mean, Jordan, have you seen my cover photo on Twitter and I'm never changing it?
I'm going to say no.
My cover photo is I am assuming that this is just a hobby for you. Carl Banks said that about me in 2019.
Yeah.
I changed it. I put it as my profile. I put it as my header, and I'm never changing it. Never.
So we're gonna corner Carl one day and be like, let's.
He should be. You need to get him in the van next year.
He won't come though.
No.
Why?
I just won't, because I don't know. We asked him on the podcast before. He responded like, "Yes, I will." Like 2 months later, it's like, okay,
I ghosted him.
That's a no.
I didn't know that he responded, and I ghosted him.
I want it to happen because I want it to be awkward too, and I really want it to be awkward and us to talk, like, let's talk it out, and that's how you become friends. That's like with Giant Insider. They hate us. I was like, come talk with us on a podcast for 30 minutes, and I guarantee we could be friends by the end. But they refuse to do it. So
can we eat? I feel like food is always the.
No, we're not eating on microphone.
I disagree.
All right, so Jordan, we'll let you go.
All right, thanks for railroading me, Bobby. I mean, here's what happens. I come on with you guys. You railroad me. You make me into a little person. Like, these are the kind of things that happen. So thanks for coming on. We made you into, like, you're 2'2".
I feel like this is what people like listening to instead of being like, what do you think about Henry Mondo?
No, I agree. I'm just talking about the picture, the video, and you guys made me super small.
That was Julian. That was not my idea.
Julian loves it.
It is awesome. I think it's actually really funny. The thing is, I have a picture of me and Joe Judge when you got introduced as head coach, and I look about the same size because Joe Judge was really big.
Yeah. Joe Judge returns. That's the Joe Judge will return to the Giants next year with the Patriots. All right. We'll let you go.
Yes,
Everyone
I have one final question.
All right. One final question.
All right. Last one. I got to take my daughter to soccer in 2 minutes.
Okay. I want to take the beat reporters to the Candlewick Diner one day. How about that? We down?
I'll be there. I saw you were doing something. I was like, maybe I'll go, but then it's got to be it's something I can make.
Okay, I want to. So who should we invite? Who should we invite to the Candlewick Diner dinner?
No, I'm not going to be in charge of that list.
Come on. Well, okay. Then I'll be in charge.
Yeah.
I'll put everybody in a Twitter group.
I'm sure the beat reporters would.
I think you need to invite Pat Leonard and extend an olive branch.
See, that's tough because I actually do have. I have said I think Pat Leonard's a necessary evil on the beat. But
I agree.
I don't know. It's just weird when it's like we've talked so much shit about the person. It's like, are we all right? Let's be friends.
You've talked so much crap about him and did so many videos, and you basically. We're directing people to shit on him and hate him.
We don't hate on him as much as other people do, though.
I know, but you're directing people to go. You're like, hey, go kill this guy, And I say that,
All word.
I said that I say that in a metaphorical way.
Metaphorically.
All right, so
so olive branch over dinner, break bread.
See, that's just bad for the brand, though. It's like even
that's like you're softening.
You stay in Florida and I'll handle it.
Yeah, that's like, oh, these guys are sellouts now. So, all right, and like Ruben, our good friend Ruben, who joined you guys on the beat, he's telling me Pat Leonard's a great person, man. I'm like, stop telling me this. Like, I don't want to hear this. I don't care. If anyone,
gigantes.
So we're gonna hit Pat Leonard with the olive branch, as Jordan Raanan said. All right, see ya. Go take care of your family. Appreciate you.
Fun fellas.
All right, that was good. All right. Yeah, Steven said, let the hate flow through. Yes, exactly. We're never going to be friends with Pat Leonard. Let's be real. All right. We're at 45 minutes. Right?
Oh, we didn't end it? I thought we ended it.
Oh, good.
That's why I wasn't saying anything.
Good thing you didn't say your normal horrible things that you say as soon as.
Yeah, I know. Usually when we end streams, I usually say bad things about the guests that we just had on.
Yeah.
Thank
God
God
that guy's gone.
Wow. Okay. Jordan Raanan did just
how Jordan has a job at ESPN. I'll never know. Keep the bad comments coming. We'll keep putting them on the screen. No, Jordan's our guy.
No,
all right, we'll be back. Should have an O-line. Let me check to see if the all 22's up. But we'll have all types of content out this week. Obviously,
all 22 or we're not doing a mailbag for Wednesday's pod.
I think we just kind of talk with 20 minutes with Weiss, 20 minutes with Entertainer, and yeah.
Maybe we should have our Patreon members think of some questions for Weiss. Maybe have like a segment, like have a little bit of an interview, and then we can have. I'm a big fan of segments, of adding segments to things.
Okay.
So there's a flow.
All right, we'll figure it out. All right, we appreciate you guys. Watch the podcast, watch everything. See ya. Bam, bam, bam. Let's go, Big Blue.